If you're considering relocating to Northeast Tennessee, then you'll want to know what to expect before you come. I'm Tiffany Watts, a local realtor here in the Tri-Cities area with Keller Realty Johnson City. Before you relocate to Northeast Tennessee, you're going to want to be aware of these topics that we'll be discussing today. So being active outdoors is one of the many things that drive people to our area, hiking and the mountains. Being outdoors, one of the first things you'll want to be aware of are ticks. Now, it doesn't take being deep in the woods with a canopy of trees over top of you for you to get ticks on you. Being a real estate agent and showing land and property where the grass can sometimes get high, after these showings, I even have to check myself for ticks. Also, while you're outside, you're going to want to watch out for poison ivy and poison oak. Poison ivy can grow anywhere around your home, and if you do happen to get into it, hurry and shower, and hopefully you won't have a reaction. Also, in the spring and summer, be on the lookout for snakes. We do have venomous snakes here in Northeast Tennessee, but we also have good snakes too. So try not to kill the good ones because they can really help with pests such as field mice. Now, if you relocate to an area that's pretty close to mountains, you might have some run-ins with some black bears. They usually tend to not be aggressive and they do get scared of people, but they will get in your trash. So depending on where you're located in Northeast Tennessee, you may want to put a lock on your trash can. So you need to know that we have 4 seasons here in Northeast Tennessee. It gets cold in the winter and hot in the summer. Now, depending on what you're used to and where you're relocating from, that will determine whether you think our seasons are harsh. And remember, the higher your elevation, the cooler it's going to be. Here in the Tri-Cities, we have a lot of older homes, and I've noticed a lot lately that were built in the 70s. A lot of our homes are on wells and or septic tanks. Now, depending on where you're relocating from, you may or may not know what those are. A lot of people relocate here wanting to get away from the big cities, or maybe you want to purchase a lot of acres of land. So you need to know that in the more rural areas, there's typically not a lot, or if any, restrictions. Many people want this because, for example, some people may want to be able to park their camper or RV, or maybe even a boat in their driveway. Some people just don't like being told what to do by an HOA. But you also need to know that those same lack of restrictions also go for your neighbors as well. So there is a chance that your neighbors may acquire 30 or 40 cars to park around their property or any other junk for that matter. And that may or may not bother you. You also need to know that in the more rural areas, a lot of those places don't have trash pickup. So what you have to do is you have to bring your garbage to the dump yourself. Here in Northeast Tennessee, there are lots and lots of farm animals. The majority are cows, but you'll also see horses, alpacas, goats. You'll also see chickens and roosters. And if you live near someone who has a rooster, you're probably going to hear it. Those roosters don't just crow at dawn. I have a neighbor who has one, and luckily I only hear it when I'm outside, and even then, it doesn't really bother me then. I can also hear their goats, and that's actually pretty funny. And the last topic I want to touch on really quickly is the humidity. It can get a little humid here in the summer, but I actually don't think it's really that bad. After living in Florida for a few years, it doesn't really compare in my opinion. But whether you think it's bad or not, it's going to depend on what you're used to in your state. You may find it humid here if you're relocating from out west. Or you may not think it's very humid at all if you're coming from the south. So that's going to do it for today. Be sure to subscribe and check out my video about the simple things to love in Northeast Tennessee. Thanks for watching.